So I don't know what you've heard, but like when you're getting stared down by 48, 49 Geonosians, it is nuts. It is scary.
You want to talk about scary? This man, just all black armor and then the red blade in the fog in the hallway, just cutting down rebels. You
want to talk about
scary?
You want to talk about blades? What about when 4 blades are connected to a giant insectoid and it's coming at you?
We got this like old man who shoots lightning out of his fingertips.
Wild.
Okay, it's just I can't.
It's wild.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
I can't. Hold on.
This is nuts. What were you saying?
I couldn't hear you.
I couldn't hear you. I was just talking about the top 12 scariest moments in Star Wars.
Why?
Because it's Halloween, baby. And top 12 sounds way cooler than top 10. There's always a lot to talk about out of Dune Sea and Beyond. Let's get to it.
Woo!
All right. Hey, we were just here, I feel like.
Yes.
Like arguing a lot, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
It got really intense. But hey.
I'm intense?
No, I said it got intense.
Okay.
We were both intense,
I
let's
was
be
going to
honest.
say, I heard a viewer say that they watched a man's heart break while watching it.
I wonder who that was. It wasn't me.
Oh.
It wasn't me. It was probably him more than likely.
I see.
More than anything. Yeah, so it's Halloween.
It is.
It's spooky season.
Ooh, spooky.
And, Star Wars isn't really known for its frights and its scares and its tricks or its treats, but it still has its moments.
It does.
Right? It trickles in.
So what you're trying to tell me is this is Beyond the Dune Sea's first holiday special.
Oh, it might just be our first holiday special, but it might be just a little, hopefully it's a little bit better than
a certain holiday special.
A certain holiday special. Who knows? But hey, let's get right into it. We don't have time to be blabbering on about all this nonsense. Let's get right in. Yes. Top 12. Why top 12? I don't know. Because we chose top 12. So we're getting right in to number 12. Top 12 scariest moments in the entire Star Wars saga. The Rancor's entrance in Return of the Jedi.
That music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And let's also think about the buildup. That, like, it's like the shark in Jaws. Yeah. Where, like, you can't, the first time when Ola drops down there, you don't see it. You just see its hands. And then all of a sudden,
it's a build up.
It's true. And then finally.
Slime out of his mouth.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
It is.
Like, it got a little creature feature there for a minute.
It is true. And then, and then a little kaiju-y because of how big, how big he is. And the only thing I don't buy is Luke hitting it in the fingernail with a rock, and that makes it go, ow. Like, no. Yeah, that's the only thing. Other than that, I'm here for it.
That's pretty classic monster, like you hit with a little small.
Is. And then it turns out that, like, it was just it was misunderstood.
Yeah, that is so sad,
isn't it?
Why'd they do that? Like, leave it to Star Wars, to do this.
Yeah,
a pretty typical thing, a monster. Ooh, wow, coming after the hero. But then, it actually, that was kind of sad.
It is. Right? It's like, the monster has feelings, and then someone really cares about it.
Yeah,
it's a pet.
Yeah. It just the slime and it got really intense. You're afraid for Luke there for a minute with the bones and the skulls, and got a little creepy. But hey, that's number 12.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 11 would be also from the original trilogy. It is the trash compactor scene.
Oh,
yeah. Thoughts on that?
It gets a little intense.
Well, what about the monster in the beginning of it too? What is that thing called? It's like a Dianung. I'm
dude,
bad.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not that deep.
It's okay.
I mean, I'm deep, but I'm not like knowing the monster in the trash compactor.
You got
deep.
like this little like octopus creature thing that's trying to eat Luke Skywalker. Then it's like, oh, okay, cool, they got out. And the next thing you know, what happens? Oh, the walls are closing in.
Right, and then he also. Mark Hamill actually blew a blood vessel being underwater so long. Do you not know that?
I did not.
Yeah, he was underwater for so long that he blew a blood vessel in his eye because he's holding his breath for so long.
It just blows my mind, the whole film, the process of filmmaking sometimes.
I know.
Where it's just like, how did that How did that come to pass?
Hey, yes. Back in those days, though, it was
no, it was guerrilla. I get it.
I mean,
you just did it.
They had a budget of $8 million, which sounds like a lot, but in movie making terms, that is
not
nothing.
Much.
Especially with what they did, with
true.
miniatures and monsters and all that stuff.
Yes,
it's pretty cool. And they played the Jaws, effect where it pops up for a minute,
and then less is more,
and it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as Star Wars and scariness goes, I mean, it pretty much always is in the monster realm.
Yes,
but sometimes it goes into a little bit more of the creep factor, especially in the animated shows.
Yes.
So my pick for number 10 would be from Star Wars The Clone Wars, episode 8 from season 2, Brain Invaders. So this is actually following an episode on Geonosis where Anakin and Obi-Wan go, and Luminar has been abducted by the zombie Geonosins with the hive mind.
They go back to Geonosis?
Yeah. Why'd they do that?
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Well, they have to save Luminara.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, this isn't on our list, but that's another creepy thing in Rebels when they took Luminara's body to attract Jedi to the ship.
Yes.
That's creepy.
Terrifying.
But this episode, though, kind of had some alien vibes. You had Barriss Offee, and Ahsoka Tano. They're both really good friends still at this point.
Mm.
And some of these parasites from Geonosis got onto the ship and started infecting the clones and made them basically zombies.
Yeah.
And they had to survive. It got really dark. They had to kill some of the clones, and pretty sad scene, but also really dark.
You said hive mind, right? Too?
That was Geonosis. Yes.
Okay, I was going to say Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary.
It got into that
Yes. Yeah. Let's move on to more scary stuff. In Rogue One, I don't what's the scary part of Rogue One?
I mean, there's only one scary part of Rogue One.
It's true. It's a pretty good part of Rogue One.
It's a pretty good part. Yeah.
Who knew trying to run a floppy disk down a hallway was such a difficult thing to do? But when you got a guy with a hot stick,
yep,
in an iron lung chasing you down the hallway,
right?
It's a pretty scary scene.
And what's funny to me about that scene? I have two things about that scene. The first is I love these headcanon things about Vader, who played up the moment for dramatics. He turned his breathing off until the moment, because it comes on right at that moment. But then once he's out in space, his cape is still billowing. So people are like, "Well, that wouldn't happen." But Anakin's so dramatic, he's billowing his own cape with the Force,
just
to make himself look scary. Yeah, I think that's funny. I had that moment spoiled for me. I was so upset.
Wow.
I stayed away from everything because I got spoiled from Han Solo's death in TFA. So I was like, okay, I knew by this point. All right, Rogue One, I'm staying away. But I wasn't at the theater yet. It was the week of the movie. I knew all the places to stay away from, but I was on a random app. I was watching some fan edits of stuff, and it was an Anakin Skywalker edit, and I was like, "Oh, this is really sick." And then there's this random shot of Darth Vader, just mowing down rebels, and I didn't think about it at first, but I was like, "What is that from?" And then it clicked. I'm like, "Aw,
how?
How did they get that?"
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it bummed me out.
Yes,
but yeah, it bummed me out, and so that was the scariest part of that scene for me, for sure.
Yes,
but the scariest thing for me in real life and in Star Wars.
Yeah, I just learned this about you, actually.
Yeah. Spiders.
Yeah.
I hate spiders.
Yes.
I have an irrational arachnophobia.
Well, I think, though, too, is the idea of something being so small and that, all it takes is one bite.
It's not even that. Yeah. It is not, I don't know what it is about spiders. It is not their potential for harm. Yeah.
So you don't like
I don't know. It is, I call it irrational arachnophobia because I do not understand my fear. It does not come from trauma as far as I know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I do have one story from when I was a kid. I was sitting out in the grass. I don't know how old I was. And I remember just running my hands through the grass. And I just all of a sudden saw a giant wolf spider. And to this day, I cannot sit in grass. I can't do it because in my mind, I'm like, it's just covered. I told this story the other day, by the way, to around my wife's family, my mother-in-law and stuff. And then they proceeded to tell me that at my old house, we'd go outside with this flashlight and just shine it out in the yard. You'd just see all these eyes reflected back at you. I was like, why'd you tell me that?
Bull.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I have irrational fear of spiders. My dog, Indy, he's my spider killer. Yeah. He knows, he could detect it in my voice.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I see a spider, I'll be like, Indy, and he'll come up, his ears are all perked. He's like, all right, where am I looking? And I'll point. And what he does is he just smashes it with his nose.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's good.
So, but there are 2 kind of scary spider moments. Well, there's a few actually in Star Wars. There is the first that I'm going to mention, the least scary of all of them probably, but is in The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2, The Passenger.
Knobby white spiders. That's what those are called. Did you know that those were going to be on Dagobah?
Yes, I did.
It's a Ralph McQuarrie drawing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. They appeared in Rebels first, actually. I didn't know that until I rewatched Rebels. I thought their first appearance was in Mandalorian Season 2 because I didn't fully watch Rebels till after I watched Mandalorian Season 2. But that is a creepy scene. I don't like it when they're crawling all over the Razor Crest. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
get the F out of there.
It gets so crazy, like with how many there are.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing where it's like, man, it's like, come on, Mando, do something. It's like, there's just too many.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I was just the whole time like, get your flamethrower out, Mando. Get the flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly.
Burn them with fire. I hate these things. There is a moment in...
how fitting that Peyton Reed did that episode.
Why is that?
Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah. There's a moment in Rebels. It's again not on this list. It's arguably creepier than this actually, where they go to like this abandoned base because they're looking for where they're going to set up shop, and it's like the whole thing is filled with these spiders. Yeah, and they like can't come out into light or something. I don't remember all the details of that episode, but it's also really creepy.
Yeah.
F those things.
No thanks.
Hate
no
those
thanks.
Things.
Well, let's keep with the spider legs themes. Let's go Small Spider Legs. That's from Clone Wars Episode 4, or it's Season 4, Episode 21, Brothers. And do you remember the reveal of this? Yes, where he's, just Sam Witwer's just losing his mind. Just showing that very, you remember when Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 like looks around and he's on the operating table, he's like, no! And I get kind of that vibes from this, where it's just like he's just a monster and he hates himself, but he's got to stay alive because of Kenobi.
Yeah, that scene felt personally like a personal attack against me.
Because
I was like, man, I love Maul. Like it starts out with the red. I'm like, because you get to tease before, right, with Asajj. Or Asajj with Savage seeing Maul in that mirror thing from Mother Talzin. I was like, yes, we're gonna get some Maul, and then you get it's the sound of like
gotcha.
Gosh, and then you see him. I mean, he's not as creepy himself. Like when he comes out, like the reveal it's like revealing the monster, right?
Yeah,
like it kind of loses it a little bit, but it's the build up to it that's so creepy because you get the tick, 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 tick.
Yes,
like, just forget that. And like it's in that trash cave.
Yeah,
it's just so it's unnerving. It's creepy. I don't like it. You know who that reminds me of? Which also played by Sam Witwer. It's not a spider thing, but it's just the creepy unnervingness of it. That weird little goblin creature that he plays in Mortis.
Oh, yes. That's the brother. Yeah. I don't know why randomly he turns into that goblin creature just to bite Ahsoka.
I don't like that. It's just like gross. It's just creepy.
Yes.
So let's go into animation's got a lot of creepy stuff. Right?
Yeah.
But there's different levels of scary, right? We've talked about Halloween. There's horror, like there's there's
a jump scare.
There's the jump scare, which by the way, you got little honorable mention. We didn't mention up at the top.
It's true.
That's the cheapest. That's the cheapest type of scare is a jump scare.
You think the jump scare?
I think so.
Yeah.
There is one jump scare, one prominent one. In Empire Strikes Back, it's the Minox.
Yeah,
Leia's like, and then it's like, gosh, come on.
It's true.
Like, you're not
What's that about?
That. Yeah. I think it's the cheapest type of scare.
I gotcha.
But so you got jump scares. You have you
got your slasher.
Yeah, you got slasher.
You've got paranormal.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, there's all kinds of different types of horror.
There's different layers.
There's suspense. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff that just unnerves you to your bone. You know? And that's what illustrates that more than Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
When you have Anakin Skywalker, tears streaming down his face, slicing down the Nemoidians, the Separatists, just cutting them down, and then at the very end, turns his head and his eyes glowing yellow.
Yeah, I'll admit. So this is kind of like I guess my version of your spider story. I remember watching this in the theater, and I knew it was coming. even. Just because, it's in that first trailer where he first turns around, dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities. Yeah, and then it cuts to that. When he turned, I think it's just probably the swelling of music and John Williams going nuts with Anakin's dark deeds, and then the Separatist leaders being like, hey, stop, and he's. This isn't Return of the Jedi where Luke has a light club where he's hitting people and they just fall into the Sarlacc and that's it. No, you could see he's slashing people just to
running them through.
Yep, just hurting them. That is it. And I remember being legitimately oh my gosh, this is terrifying. That he is very just it's scary imagery. I looking back on it, I know now that I'm it's not that big a deal. But in the theater,
no,
I was
dark.
I was in it, that I was oh my gosh, he is gone. He is not there anymore. That Anakin Skywalker is gone at this point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that it is. Yes, just I remember that's my intense thing. Yeah,
there's
Star Wars.
One shot from that sequence that sticks with me. It's when Anakin turns. He's just cutting people down, but he turns. You see, it's just his mouth gaping. Yeah, his eyes, tears
he's
streaming
crying.
down his
he
face.
doesn't want to be doing that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's the man that we have come to know and love.
The hero of the Clone Wars is gone. And
you want to knock George all you want for starting Phantom Menace with him being a 9-year-old. If that's the payoff, wow.
Yeah.
What a fall from grace. This is pod racing. Yeah, we like to chuckle at that now, but that was the little kid that we saw. It's the same guy cutting down these people. Essentially, they're not innocent, but they're innocent to a degree, right?
Yeah.
They don't deserve what's happening to them.
No. And Newt Gunray says it. Hey, we were promised peace. And what's he do?
Yeah, everybody was just manipulated by Palpatine. It's true. Everybody from a certain point of view, everybody was manipulated.
Yeah. So, this is another one that I remember the first time I watched it that I was pretty freaked out. This is Bad Batch season 2, episode 11, the Zillo Beast. And it's the episode Metamorphosis, and the intro, literally taken out of Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yeah.
It is you got ARC troopers just creeping along, and they're trying to kill this thing, and it's in the pipes, and it's just good stuff. And I remember watching it and being like, are they really bringing the Zillo Beast back? And it it didn't look like how it did in Clone Wars. It looked more like Alien 3, like a xenomorph. They really took some inspiration from that.
Yeah, that's I remember watching that scene with my wife, and I liked Bad Batch season 2, but I didn't like it as much as season 1. But when we got to that episode opening that way, I was like, dang, okay, we dialed it up a notch.
Yeah.
All right. It was cool. And creepy, man. It was it didn't really maintain that momentum the whole time, but that opening just that
scene,
isolated.
And that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Wow. And another thing in Bad Batch that we could have mentioned, there's so many little moments, where just little peaks of horror, like Wrecker, losing his mind. And
yes. Well, the whole thing is it never hits Indiana Jones level of insanity. I was thinking about that.
And that's not Star Wars, though.
I know, but I'm just thinking, I just thought about that another Lucasfilm property that George holds very dear, but it never hits that level.
That's an interesting thought, isn't it? That Lucas... in Lucas properties, and I wonder if it's more of a Lucas thing or if it was more of a Spielberg thing, but he does use very terrifying, grotesque imagery sparingly, but very effectively.
Yes.
We'll talk about one of those coming up on our list.
Yes.
One very crucial one. But on to number 4, staying in the realm of animation, Star Wars The Clone Wars, our last entry from that show on our list.
It's not just a kid's show.
And this proved it here.
This is true.
This was actually censored from what I understand. I don't know the full story, but it was edited. This is from season 3, episode 2, ARC Troopers, when Asajj Ventress kills Commander Colt, and she does it with this wicked smile, but what was really dark, she pulls him up and with the Force right into her lightsaber and just kisses him on the lips, and then drops his dead body. That is dark stuff.
It is.
Ooh.
It is.
That is chilling.
Kid show.
And that sticks with you.
Did that get you?
I didn't watch it when I was a kid, so.
Yeah, but when you watched it, you were just kids are watching this.
It's just wow, because that's a lot of different elements there. She's Because there's
it's like ultimate temptress.
Yeah, she's like a seductress. Yeah, but she's like lost her mind here, you know.
Yeah.
Saja's a really cool character. I wish wish we could have seen the end of her story in some sort of show or something, not just in.
I'm hoping that she pops back up. I think that
but they retcon the book.
Or just you do more story with her. Not that you have to we just
because you know that she dies pretty much right after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, but I mean, you could still I'm
and a Tales of the Jedi, maybe
something. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that you could get another story with her or whatever.
That'd be cool. Tales of the Jedi, do one with Quinlan Vos, and you have the Saja.
Exactly. Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, because I mean, she shows up in Gindis.
Yeah.
And she got some backstory in that, but she doesn't get a whole lot of backstory in the Filoni Clone Wars. So I'm you could play with that. Yeah. It's almost like you need both of them, even though one isn't exactly considered to be canon. Yeah.
I mean, Asajj in general kind of fits, and the Night Sisters fit the Halloween vibe.
It's true.
And, they're all, they're creepy witches. Witches are creepy.
Yeah, they are.
Especially getting into Ahsoka. Those guys are Toil and Trouble. That was literally the second episode's name, wasn't it?
Witches. Yes.
Craziness. But
Shin Hati.
We're in the top 3.
We are number 3. Another jump scare. I don't know if it's always the cheapest kind of scare.
This one's not like the Minok.
It is not. I was going to say that because this happens earlier in the movie, and it is true. It's all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, girl, you smell something funny?" And a wampus in your face, and then it smacks Luke, and then hangs him upside down and eats his tauntaun.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
It's a real talk about another creepy scene. Yeah. More creature feature stuff. He's just hunched over, gnawing on the tauntaun. You just get the crunching noises.
And then stuff. Too, what do you think about? That's a special edition change. You knew that, right?
It is. Yeah, the crunching thing.
No, just the whole seeing it. You almost didn't see any of it in the original cut. So just that all those shots of it eating and then looking up at him and then walking along, that's not in the original cut.
ESB is the only one I've not seen the original theatrical.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So. But yes, that I was going to say that a lot of those shots were added of the Wampa.
Were they originally filmed or were they filmed later?
No, they filmed them later.
Really?
I believe so. I'm 90% sure that they went back and added more Wampa because you don't really see it.
Okay, so we just alluded to this. We're into the top 2, guys. Get ready to be scared.
Oh no!
All right, just hide, get all cozy, get ready.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not real, guys. It's just, it's
just us.
So yeah,
it's just us and some candles. What?
So this one, all right,
and then
has a lot to do with fire.
And then what?
Yeah. So this one. Mm-hmm. No, this is actually just a terrifying image that Star Wars went here. It's Anakin on fire.
Yeah.
In Revenge of the Sith. He's burning. And specifically that shot where he's just
Yeah, the further away one. Yeah. It's what got the PG-13.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just, wow, man. Yeah. That shot is just so, we were just talking a minute ago about using grotesque imagery. What a way to use it. That moment, seeing this man that we've grown to love.
Yeah.
The brother.
Yeah.
And not only is it for us, the audience, we are living vicariously through Obi-Wan in that moment. Yeah. Obi-Wan is seeing that.
And let's be honest too, with the whole what does he scream right before that? I hate you. And now his outsides are matching his insides.
Yes, they're just fueled with burning rage.
Well, and then now he's become ugly. He is no longer the hero of the Republic. Now he is a broken and destroyed individual, a shattered being. Yeah.
Yeah. Just marred, scarred. It's very much like Palpatine. It mirrors that scene because Palpatine, I've always subscribed to the theory that he's not deflecting the lightning back at himself. He's using that as a cover. That is always what Palpatine looks like.
Yeah.
He's just letting the disguise fall in that moment. Palpatine has always been ugly.
The book kind of makes it the novelization kind of leads you to that, where it's that it's almost as if his face is being removed because
it's being revealed.
Yes, because of the lightning, that it's not. Yeah.
So it's the same thing with I like that. It's the same thing with Anakin, mm-hmm. Except for that's not always who Anakin was. This is who Anakin is now. And so it's being literally burned away. The good man that was Anakin is now burned away into this ugly thing.
And then sealed into an iron lung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's terrifying. It's terrifying imagery. And I love hearing Hayden talk about this. He says, with his daughter, he's finally letting her watch some of the movies, but he always says like there are certain parts of Revenge of the Sith I don't let her watch. I bet that's one of them.
Yeah, probably shouldn't let her watch that.
I mean, who wants to see your dad literally burn alive?
Yeah, it is true. And I was going to say, who wants to see their dad become Frankenstein's monster? Because that's what happens to him.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It
now
is.
we're down to number one, which is the only time, in my opinion, where Star Wars truly goes horror.
Yeah. So this would be the beginning of the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, the Rise of Skywalker was just horror. Oh, you mean the scene? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
okay.
No. Come on, man. Come on. This guy.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah, this guy. No, this would be the opening with Kylo Ren, where he finally gets to Exegol after using the Wayfinder to get to Exegol. We finally reveal who's been inside his mind since. At The Force Awakens, it's been Emperor Palpatine, and what's left of Emperor Palpatine, and he is like a Hellraiser-esque husk of what he used to be, connected to a machine. And that scene with the lightning flashing on him and everything like that, it is no pupils, he is again just a husk of an individual.
And the dead fingers with the bones peeking out of the dead flesh and that scene, in my opinion, is one of the best scenes in the entire sequel trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I don't really like that randomly all the Star Destroyers are there, but that is a really good scene.
Again, just pictured in a vacuum. I mean, we can talk about lore stuff another day.
No, I got you. I got you.
That scene in and of itself.
Yes, the whole, what can you give me? Everything.
Yes, and then the lightning strike.
Yeah.
But I have died before.
Yeah.
But the sound design of that scene is on another level.
It is true. The lightning and everything going down and all. Oh my gosh.
Like the way Ian McDiarmid sounds, he sounds creepy. He sounds like he's he's embodying this like zombified corpse, but he's also all around you too.
Yeah.
This is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene of like, I am every voice you have ever heard inside your head. It's so good.
No, again, here we are, there's some really good scenes in that movie.
No, I'm not joking. That's one of my favorite scenes in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, it's great.
Again, we could talk all day long about how Palpatine returned, but the stuff where the scenes he's in, he nails it. Yes. He's so good. I love all that stuff with the arm coming down. And I said this last week on the tier list, but the Jedi are dead.
Yeah.
That line, gosh, the way he delivers it.
Good stuff.
It's so good.
And you can tell he's having a blast.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
It's so good. Mm-hmm. And like how long have I waited for my granddaughter to come home? It's just so eerie and creepy the way he says everything. Because you get a different vibe from him in Return of the Jedi. I like that it's different.
Yeah.
Like he feels like a zombie. He feels like a spirit in a way. Almost like, you know what he feels like? He feels like the Sith version of a Force ghost, what that would look like, which is really what he's trying to do. He's trying so desperately to cling
to life,
to the afterlife, you know? And so that's what he feels like. A Force ghost brings you, like when you see that, because when you hear ghost, right? Ghosts are Halloween.
Spooky.
But when you see a Force ghost, it's like peace.
Yeah.
Hope. That's what you feel. What do you feel when you see Palpatine and Tross? You feel eerie. You feel a foreboding.
Yeah.
You know?
He's clinging onto this like plane of existence, which is about all he can do.
Yeah. Which is it's cool. I like almost every scene with him in Tross. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This will be the final word in the story of Skywalker, which is not what he says in the actual movie, but that's what they always said in the trailer, and I liked it. He says rebellion in the movie, but I always preferred that he said Skywalker. But anyway, man, that is top 12 scariest moments in Star Wars. What do you guys think? What's your scariest moment in Star Wars? Has there ever been a moment in Star Wars where you're like, my lands, that gave me a start.
I'm just beside myself. Yeah.
Well, have you ever had to just avert your eyes?
Yeah.
You know?
Something's just so scary, so spooky.
Yeah. No, Star Wars isn't really about that. In my opinion, I've never had those moments, but there are definitely times where it's more of an eeriness.
Yeah. Well, you just said that. Like, I thought it was pretty creepy. I thought they took it pretty about as far as they could in Rise of Skywalker with Palpatine. Yeah.
Would you? Here's a better question. Would you ever like to see Star Wars actually tackle
a horror film,
a horror type scenario? Would you like to see that?
I could be okay with that, depending. I mean, it can't get too graphic, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with building suspense.
It'd be interesting.
Yes,
it could be really fun.
Because I think that Star Wars can work in different genres. You just can't take it you can't deconstruct it that much.
Can't deconstruct it too much.
Yes, you can't deconstruct it too much.
It'd be fun to see what they could do with something like that, with taking the spooktacularness of Star Wars. There's a lot of elements you could pull from that, and just with a different filmmaking flavor.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of fun.
It would be.
That'd be kind of fun.
It would be.
So, hey, a little shorter episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't, check out the tier list from last week. We got some hot takes in that one that you guys are going to want to check out, believe me, and also drop your own opinions in. And hey, thanks so much for checking out this week. We will see you later this week and, of course, next week as well, because the train just doesn't stop beyond the Dune Sea, my friends.
It's true. And there's always stuff to talk about beyond the Dune Sea.
There's always stuff to talk about. We'll see you next week.